Hello, everybody. It's Linda from Curtain Creative Gallery reading to you this Bending of a Life's Breath by Amanda Grace Windward. We are on chapter 16, where Mandy is screaming out into her journaling. The title of chapter 16 is 30 Years Devotion. And Mandy writes, "How could you do this to me after 30 years accepting my love and devotion? After we shared so much in our lives, a good life, and having 5 children with you, all my devotion to your dreams and job changing life standing by your side after your alcohol days, and catering to your health problems with your heart and your intimacy problems throughout our life together. How could you leave me to take care for myself after my accident like you did, and then leave me while I'm trying to get well again? I have one very bad fall, and you suddenly fall out of love with me during my recovery? Something is wrong with this picture. When I fell, you told me you were afraid I was dead when I was knocked unconscious and didn't seem to be breathing or moving, and that you couldn't stand to lose me. And now she tells me you say you didn't love me for a year. That's when my accident was almost a year ago. And so what does that say? You haven't loved me because I've been recovering? I thought you were scared about losing me when it happened to me, but to turn away from me and reach for another woman and the alcohol instead of loving and caring for your wife, what does that say about my husband? To seduce or be seduced by that woman and start drinking alcohol again after 25 years sobriety? And then you can turn your heart off about me and our life together and our children? Sounds to me like she is one hell of an evil woman, and you are not the man I thought you were. She found an opportunity and took full advantage, and what's more horrible, you let her. I know how pathetic I was and looked after the fall, after my accident. I know I have weight on me. Lucky Marcelina, she never had a child blow up her body, and she never raised a child or worried about a child. So she didn't have to stretch out her body and see her metabolism change. But Roger, how could you shut your heart off to me that easily, that coldly? How could you both be so mean, cruel, and heartless? Shame on you both. Now Mandy writes her poem, a poem. The poem is And I remember God said, "Fear not, for I am with you." I remember feeling, oh, so brave at the darkness of the night. I could even check the noise to show my sisters it's all right. Walking home in darkness, I'd see stars up in the sky. Knowing God was always with me, I'd sing my praises high. Music echoed from my heart to see heaven's starlight, and for years I felt protected by faith that shined so bright. To my husband, a non-believer, I tried to keep God in his sight, but his heart was full of disbelief, and he questioned wrong and right. Each time we stood protected from the wolf that was at the door, my husband, unbelieving, said God would have to show him more. For 30 years, God did show him, but that still was not enough. I never thought to save his soul would prove to be so tough. For years we stood protected by my faith I held so high, so tight. To my husband, the non-believer, I kept pointing out God's sight. I'm sure God knew all along it just wasn't meant to be. But my prayers went up so often he just had to let me see. Like the hairs on his head, God knew what he would be. And my husband would not want it, or not enough to see. I prayed each day he'd see, and God would give him the chance. But he chose to be tempted by a harlot, and with her do Satan's dance. Quite a poem. Okay, Mandy continues in her notes. What can I do? I'm being torn inside out insanely. I can't eat, I can't sleep. My sleep is troubled with nightmares of fighting for my family and for my life, fighting to get that terrible woman away from my husband, fighting for Roger to see me the way he used to and love me. I am wrecked with trembling, fright, day and night. April 4th, 2000. Continuing Mandy's notes. Roger, I wish I could write to you instead of this journal, but I must let you get on with your life, your new life, your chosen life without me. You will still have to deal with me over the kids and bills and such. I didn't know when you gave this work journal to me for the kids to use that it would end up becoming my dumping journal, therapy journal, to help me get through all this. March 24th, you left. I know this in fact because it is written down to journal in the black day timer booklet you gave me. I don't know why I can't seem to remember anything still with this stupid concussion, and still have to write notes down about everything so I can get through the day doing what I need to do. It is now April 4th, just 11 days later. I didn't see it coming, Roger. You and Marcelina hid it from me well. You tricked me. Both of you did. I wonder if you could have gotten this far without me knowing it, if not for my accident, my concussion. I feel like I've been hit by a bus. I'm still racked with denial and disbelief and shock, but it is wearing down, and your startling, cold, heartless words are beginning to sink in. It seems when you came back to me, that was just another lie, and you were really just back to appease some sick need for you both to pretend you tried and were trying to give each other up. A dramatic gesture, but a fake. You were pretending, maybe even to each other in a silly, dramatic, exciting way, so you could be like a soap opera, so you could go running back to each other's arms, pretending like you feel terrible about it, but can't resist each other or live without each other. Marcelina needs as a great actress because she doesn't know what it means to live a real life with anyone. She probably cried in your arms saying, I can't live knowing I'm breaking up your family, but I can't live without you. I love you so much. Kissy, kissy, hug, hug. What a wonderful moment for a man to let himself believe he is all that. Drink up and enjoy the immature drama together. That kind of woman has been using and getting away with that garbage to get a gullible drinking man for generations. Too much TV, you guys. Well, it was that, or you came back for a last look around to see if you forgot something at the house that you might want to later, or maybe she sent you back to pack more decent clothes. And when you realized you didn't have the kind of clothes that would impress her now, it was time to go shopping for new clothes and go back to her all spruced up 2.5 days later after I take you shopping. I certainly don't believe now that it was really to express your regret for what you did or reminisce about our love or make plans for our future like you pretended to be. Or maybe it was just to do some last minute shopping at the house before it sank in with me what you were completely up to. I guess I will never know. Dear dumb old friend Roger, I must now begin my tomorrows and figure out what to do for the kids and me now, and how to live without you. I need to get over this and try to heal some of this extreme depression, or whatever it is that's standing in the way of my sanity. I will try to take one step at a time, concentrate on organizing the house, cleaning, and sorting in case we end up having to sell it. It is full and a very big job. I need to find a good job to support me and the kids now, too, somehow. I need to concentrate on the bills you left me with, try to organize them and make phone calls as best I can to make plans to pay them and get us out of debt. Debt. It hurts my heart that you left us in such a financial mess. Even if I was able to work 50 hours a week at my measly $8.65 an hour, I could never make enough to replace your income, Roger. I guess I should have been developing another career instead of being just a stay at home wife and mom for a family with you for 30 years, you and your family. But who could have guessed you would dump your family in our senior years and make me start all over again without you and with your children to raise by myself while I do. If I had gone back to work at GE rather than marry you and stay at home for 30 years to raise our children and your sister's children, heck, I should have chosen Jack Trent instead of you. He would have been faithful, and he was a hard worker and gentle soul. I don't know if I can do this. I'm afraid I will break. Things are so confusing. It is so difficult, even sorting out the bills. My mind is so confused and stressed. I know has so much to do. I have so much to do in case we have to sell the house. How can I afford to keep it going for Willie, Randy, Warren, and Jack to finish growing up? I wish it had been my turn, at least, to be able to get more education or some sort of job training all these years waiting for my turn. There was so much I would have loved to do for myself, but it was always about you, Roger, the man, the breadwinner, the head of the family. Now I'm 51 years old, unskilled, recovering from my accident, a concussion. I feel depressed, scared, and feeling so alone. Losing my father to cancer and my husband to another woman at the same time. I feel so frightened and alone with an unfinished home for my children after the fire. I must try and keep things as stable as possible through this awful crisis for their sake. Dear Lord, help me. Jack is crying and depressed. Warren can't stop wanting to be hugged and get reassured everything will be just fine? Or, or is he hugging me for the same reason? I tell them their dad will be there for them always. He's leaving me, not you. You say you'll even be here for them better than you were before. I want to hope you are telling the truth in that at least. But playing in this woman's soap opera life, I'm not sure you are going to be allowed to be there for your children. She seems like a selfish teenager, out of control little girl. I've known women like her, and it's hard to believe her capable of sharing you, her conquest, with any of your past family, even your children. And you have always had to be nudged by me to tune into your children. What's going to change now? But we will see. Our children are afraid of losing their home, too. It is so unfinished still. You haven't been working on it for quite some time, and now you're leaving it unfinished. It seems like you never planned to finish it for them after all. And I must wonder why you began it in the first place, if it's true you didn't love me and were planning on leaving. The children, especially Warren and Jack, are so distraught. I'm afraid to leave them for even a moment, but must. When I go to work, I can't stop crying. I have to wear what I call my Ray Charles glasses so the clients can't tell how upset I am all the time. I wear a painted smile and seem to have a constant cold in my nose. I say it's allergies, but it's just from crying all day and night long. My heartbreak is cutting deep and painful, but the thought of what this is doing to everyone else is worse pain for me than even your leaving. God help us survive this and keep my children safe. April 6th, 2000, Thursday, the week of April 2nd to the 8th, actually. Roger had $350 to give me, but then his brother Bruce called and said he was 4 payments behind on his truck payments to him. So Roger needed to pay him the $350, so no support this week for the food or others' kids. I had no food for the kids, so my sister and her daughter, Cara, brought me some groceries, and my mother brought me some bread. If he could just pay me, I can almost catch up with our money store home equity line. Next week, I will catch up. April 7th, 2000. I got my period today. Roger's brother Bruce wants his $350 from Roger for the car. Roger was at Marcelina's at 9:30 p.m. when I beeped her to give him his brother Bruce's message. April 7th, journal gripe. Roger, I can't believe you are such a heartless, selfish weasel. Oh, I'm having a break from Marcelina, too, you said. You lie. You're still at her house after 9:30 in the morning. You didn't go home to your brother Luke's at all. You're really putting your brother Luke in the middle, you louse. Why can't you be honest? You are a sneaky, self-centered, lying louse. The reason you called Bruce... nice noise. The reason you called Bruce after I made the arrangements were because your true plan was to stay at Marcelina's, your girlfriend. And I just called and told you so at 10:36 a.m. and then called a lawyer afterwards because I know what's going on. Marcelina is your girlfriend, not best friend or sister such. You were and still are a two-timing, self-centered louse. April 8th, 2000, Saturday. Roger came for a couple of hours and took Warren and Jack to Burger King and then left. Warren and Jack were upset with the short visit. They didn't make plans with their friends because they were waiting for their father, but then he just came and went. They were going to have their cousin Henry over, but didn't because their Roger was supposed to spend the day with them. Jack cried, saying, "I can't even talk to him. He's a stranger. He's been gone all year, going up to Marcelina's all the time, and now he moved out. I want Dad back." They were so upset, and with Jack crying, I told them to write their feelings down on a paper and share them with their father when he came back tomorrow. Jack went up in his room to write his note. He is so sensitive and protective of me, too. He has a wise, sad old soul, and he's the youngest. April 9th, 2000. Roger is at our house visiting with the kids once again. We had no money. Once again, we had no money for groceries, and Roger doesn't have any child support this week either. But Roger gave me the Irving gas card from work. He said I can fill my car once a week with it. I spent $34.64 in gas. Warren and Jack are up in the office right now, writing their notes to their father, telling him how they feel about everything that is going on with him. Our son Luke is downstairs overseeing the day while I go to work today. I'm so glad Luke said he talked to his father about what he is doing. RJ is at work at Roger's cousin Sam, so at least there should be no unexpected bombs from him during Warren and Jack's discussion they will be having with their father today about how they feel. Hopefully, RJ can get a chance to talk to his father on his own with them together later and work out their feelings honestly because he's so mad. So that RJ will stop steaming about things around here and taking it all out on everybody. But I'm afraid RJ is so much like Roger. They bark loudly, swear a lot, and have difficulty discussing their true feelings or working them out. We have had enough verbal abuse during this difficult time, and none of the kids like being pushed away by their father. I hope this all works out better for everyone after they have a chance to talk to their dad. Still Sunday, April 9th, 2000. I worked all day, but when I got home, Jack cried loudly and cried hard. They had given Roger their notes, and Jack cried, saying, "Mom, all he said when he read my note was he grouched and said it has nothing to do with Marcelina. He didn't answer any of my questions or anything. All he cares about is Marcelina. He doesn't care about us." He cried and he cried. Warren didn't cry, but he was angry and complained and complained. I think he was more hurt that Jack was so hurt than anything else. He loves his brother. So I called Roger to try and get Roger to talk to Jack to make him feel better. I told Roger how the boys were feeling and gave them the phone to talk to him. When Jack got on, he tried his best to tell Roger what he had been feeling and how much he needed him, and he begged him to work things out or figure out a way to be with them. I was very proud of him and how he handled it and expressed himself. He was acting so grown up and spoke perfectly and calmly, slow and deliberately, with tears in between. Roger listened and then only said, "Is your mother sitting there telling you what to say?" This hurt Jack, and he broke down and yelled, "No!" Then Jack got off the phone and cried hard again, telling me what happened. "Dad said, is your mother sitting there telling you what to say?" That's why I yelled no. What does he think? I can't talk? I can't say what I want to say? I don't want to talk to him ever again. He doesn't care about us. I said, no, honey, he just made a mistake. I'll call him and fix it. I called Roger back and told him what Jack said and warned him to try and straighten it out. I wanted to say, or I'll make sure you don't keep hurting these kids, but I held my tongue, and he got back on the phone with Jack and he apologized, and things seemed to be feel better. He promised to call the boys every day. Jack still told me he feels he can't talk to him anymore and that his father had been unreachable for such a long time now, all this year, before he even left with Marcelina, Jack complained. I can't talk to a stranger. He's like a stranger. That was the end of chapter 16. We'll be moving on to the next chapter, which the journal entry takes place on April 10th. So he's barely been gone, since March 24th. And chapter 17 starts with a poem Mandy wrote. So we'll catch you in the next chapter. I hope you're staying with this and are interested in this life. I'll thank you and talk to you soon. Later, Gator.